The Romulan Star Empire has a long history in Star Trek's mythos, originating from the planet Vulcan around the 4th century on our calendar. Their origin may be Vulcan, but they then undertook a generational voyage into the Beta Quadrant to find a new homeworld to settle. Over time they developed their own culture, traits, and even varied genetically from their Vulcan cousins. So with all this cultural heritage, why is their symbol a raptor, an Earth bird? Hi all, Rick here with a video looking into the heraldry of the Romulan Star Empire, which, trust me, is a larger topic than it first appears. To start with, when the Romulans left Vulcan, they did so in the wake of nuclear detonations and fleeing from the philosophical changes of their brethren that were sweeping the planet. To them, they were afraid of losing their identity, everything that made them who they were, as this seeming pacifism found its place in the hearts of many Vulcans. In this time of awakening, those reluctant to put aside their aggressive ways unified under the Raptor's wings. This is the earliest version of the Romulan's sigil that we know of, and shows that it predates the founding of Romulus and is in fact drawn from their original home of Vulcan. So, what is it based on? Colloquially referred to as a raptor, this is likely a translation to English from whatever Vulcan creature closely resembled a raptor. So, raptors as a term applies to any bird of prey, which includes eagles, falcons, hawks, and so on. It's likely therefore that any such predatory bird on Vulcan would receive the same moniker regardless of the fact that it would technically be an alien lifeform. Vulcan is home to many avian creatures, for sure, including the firebird, lyrebird, dokal, martorpala, and so on. For predatory birds we have the shavok, a 2.5 metre desert hunter and carrion bird, or the sun dweller, which went extinct due to wars and pollution. There is also the bloodwing, a type of raptor that took ages to take off but once was airborne was a sight to see over the desert lands. What's more, a prominent Romulan family used it as their crest, and among the first 18 ships to depart from Vulcan, one was named the Bloodwing. The first time in canon we get a glimpse of the Romulans is in Enterprise, when we visit the Romulus' capital city of Kibaratan, and standing proudly atop many a pillar is a stylized Romulan raptor, maintained as the prominent flag of their people, but now slightly amended. The raptor itself is painted a deep green colour. Considering the raptor on which it is based is a bloodwing, this makes sense. After all, Vulcan and Romulan blood is not red, but green. Also of note is the raptor's pose. Wings and tail flared out, breaking, talons raked forwards, head looking down and hunched. If you've ever seen a slow motion footage of a bird of prey attacking, this is the posture it adopts immediately before it strikes. This symbol is not one of freedom, depicting a bird neither in flight nor vigil as it stands sentinel. This is a bird of prey being aggressive, not only hunting, but successful in its attack. It has a prey in its sights and has already dived. If you are seeing a raptor from this angle, it's already too late, you were its target. This perfectly captures the Romulan philosophy when it comes to combat. Romulans are masters of subterfuge, deception, diversion, and stealth. While their ships are powerful, they know when to make a show of their power and when to stalk their prey. They prefer to attack from the unseen angle, silently closing in and at the last minute, bare talons and attack with lethal precision, decloaking and firing on an unsuspecting ship, scoring their prey and retreating. But what prey has the Bloodwing snared? 2 orbs that represent the twin planets they settled of Romulus and Remus. This crest symbolises the successful capture of the raptor of its target, entire worlds. One is Romulus, the other is the first world they subjugated, Remus and the Remans. This is the primary symbol that goes on to see several stylisations over the 300 odd years that we see the Romulans, yet despite this, This is their classic symbol that we see in consistent use, if not as the direct heraldry, then on statues, decorations, pins, and so on. In every alternate example we see the same pose, the same raptor, and often the same twin orbs clutched in its successful talons. In instances where the raptor is two-toned, one side is always bloodwing green, representing the Romulans' side, while the other is often shrouded in blue twilight, like the eternal dusk of Remus. In Star Trek Enterprise, we see a stylized version used as decoration, but not on the main flag of Romulus, although all the familiar elements are there. Even in Strange New Worlds and Discovery, the emblem is the same as the first we see in Enterprise, and later Next Generation. By the year 2379, we still see the use of the original heraldry, but there's also a new emblem that is circulating, depicting a sleeked down version of the Raptor. The pose remains the same, as do the elements like the planets. However, the overall tone is more akin to a bird made from blades instead of feathers, and the head is reduced to several triangles. This triangle element was always present too in the earlier designs as the mantling on which the Raptor rests, which, although reminiscent of a pointed weapon, is also an ancient Vulcan symbol because Vulcans love triangles. The head being simplified into a triangle also features prominently in the lower decks appearances of the logo. However, with a simplified style of that show, it's hard to tell exactly how this would be depicted in live action, so I'm not going to focus down on these. I'll also draw attention to the Tal Shiar logo, which features the Raptor, although now it has its wing raised, almost like a cloak shrouding its body, and it's turned side on. It still features the twin orbs, but now they're lurking in the background and surveying from the shadows. The overall shape is the same as the original emblem, so the connection is apparent, and the colour scheme is similar too. However, now it's more prominently adorned with two shapes, which might be heavily stylised wings, but overall I'm not sure. The only exception to the Raptor's use is the original series, where we first encounter the Romulans. We see that their chosen emblem is a golden hexagon with three elongated ones in different colours around its edge, the middle blocked out by black. It's very different and never seen again. So the real reason is that TOS was still establishing Trek canon and it was all over the place. In universe, however, it's also not addressed. The only thing I can think of is that it was selected by the then Emperor of the time, possibly as a way to obfuscate the Romulans' connection to the Vulcans more so, explaining why it was abandoned after the Federation learned of their origins. There was no longer a need to hide their history. By the time of Star Trek Picard, the Romulan Star Empire is no more, thanks to the loss of its home systems to the supernova. There are a myriad of smaller powers rising in its wake, and the Tal Shiar has seemingly seized larger control of the remnants of the Empire, as well as the Romulan Free State, so far being the largest emergent power. Here we have several new logos, reflective of the status of Romulus. The Raptor is still the primary feature of their heraldry, however, aside from being even more stylised, notice what is missing? Yep, their homeworlds. It's a more forlorn image. The once deadly and successful bird of prey is now left talonless and without a world to grasp. Lastly, we have the emblem as it appeared in the 32nd century. By this time, the Romulans had fully merged back with their Vulcan cousins back on the planet Vulcan, renaming it Navarre. They had cast aside their conquerors' ways and embraced the Vulcan ideals, if not their practices, of cooperation, and the heraldry reflects this. The Vulcan Edict deserves its own video, but now we see that the Romulan Raptor is mostly obscured by the prominent Vulcan symbol for seeking enlightenment. In its brooch form, it is depicted clasping the emblem, talons inward, carrying it instead of striking, and the planetary logo itself is adorned with three orbs. The topmost one represents Navarre, much as it did on the Edict, while the other two may be homages to the lost worlds of both Romulus and Remus. I have avoided talking about the lettering on the Romulan logo, however, as although it is written in Romulan script, It is nonsense when translated, so I assume this was added before Romulan was sort of coded into a language, and in hindsight, translating it now does not hold up. There is a lot I like about the Romulans of Trek, from their ship designs to their espionage-laden politics, and even their extensive use of this heraldry. They make great villains, and there is a surprising amount of detail given into their history that I think stands out even among the fleshed-out worlds of Star Trek. Their use of the Raptor extends even into their ship design, with birds of prey on the hulls of their vessels, and even the detailing of their later warbirds resembling feather patterns. This is something we see in other state-focused powers, like the Cardassians, whose ship design and emblem also mirror. Thanks for watching this breakdown on the Romulans' emblems. I've been Rick, and I'll see you later for another video. If you liked this one, let me know. I thought it was a bit of an out there topic, certainly not a starship or tech breakdown, but I enjoyed talking about other stories found in lore, and this logo tells a long tale. Thanks again for watching. I've been Rick, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.